Have you ever stopped to think about how stress impacts your daily life? It's a question worth pondering. Stress, in its many forms, is an inevitable part of our existence. It's that rush of adrenaline that gets your heart pounding when you're facing a deadline or the nagging worry that keeps you up at night. We've all been there and it's perfectly normal. Yet, stress isn't always bad. It can be a motivator, pushing us to perform better, to overcome challenges. It's our body's way of reacting to any kind of demand or threat, an automatic response from our nervous system. Our bodies are designed to handle small doses of stress. But when that stress becomes constant, when it's always switched on, it stops being helpful and starts wreaking havoc on our health, our mood, our productivity, and our relationships. Consider the moments when you feel most stressed. Maybe it's during your daily commute, constantly battling traffic. Or perhaps it's the pressure of a meeting with your boss, or the chaos of a family gathering. These stressors, as we call them, often arise at predictable times. They're the situations that make your heart pound, your palms sweat, and your mind race with 1,000 thoughts. Now, when it comes to handling these predictable stressors, we have two options. We can either change the situation or change our reaction to it. This decision, though it may seem simple, is crucial in our journey to effective stress management. But how do we know which option to choose? How can we navigate through this maze of stress and come out on the other side, unscathed and stronger? That's where the 4 A's of stress management come into play. Avoid, alter, adapt, and accept. These 4 strategies offer a roadmap, guiding us on how to tackle stress head-on and emerge victorious. But what if we told you there are ways to better manage stress? Enter the 4 A's of stress management. Avoid, alter, adapt, and accept. Firstly, let's discuss the avoid strategy. Now, it's important to clarify that this doesn't mean we should run away from every stressful situation. Quite the contrary, it's about identifying and eliminating unnecessary stressors that clutter our lives. One crucial tip is learning to say no. It's all about knowing your limits and sticking to them. In both your personal and professional life, biting off more than you can chew is a sure recipe for stress. So when you're already overloaded, learn to politely decline additional tasks or responsibilities. Another thing, avoid people who stress you out. If there's someone who consistently triggers stress in your life, try to limit the amount of time you spend with them, or even consider ending the relationship. Take control of your environment. If the evening news gets your heart racing, switch off the TV. If peak hour traffic grinds your gears, opt for a longer but less congested route. If grocery shopping feels like a chore, why not try online shopping? And then there are hot button topics. If you find yourself getting upset over topics like politics or religion, it might be best to take them off your conversation list. If you repeatedly argue about the same subjects with the same people, it's time to stop bringing it up or politely excuse yourself when it becomes the topic of discussion. Lastly, manage your to-do list effectively. If you're overwhelmed with tasks, take a moment to analyze your schedule, responsibilities, and daily tasks. Distinguish between the shoulds and the musts. Drop tasks that aren't truly necessary to the bottom of the list, or eliminate them entirely. Remember, it's not about avoiding all stress, it's about knowing what to avoid and what to confront. After all, stress is a part of life, but by avoiding unnecessary stress, we can ensure we're saving our energy for the battles that really matter. Next, we move on to alter. When you can't avoid, you alter. This is the second A in our 4 A's of stress management. Altering a situation is all about taking control and making changes. It's about stepping up and making the necessary adjustments to reduce the stress in your life. Now let's discuss some ways to do this. Firstly, express your feelings instead of bottling them up. If something or someone is bothering you, it's important to communicate your concerns in an open and respectful way. You see, if you keep your feelings to yourself, resentment will build and the stress will only increase. So, speak up, let your voice be heard. Secondly, be willing to compromise. When you ask someone to change their behavior, be ready to do the same. It's about give and take. If both parties are willing to bend a little, there's a good chance of finding a happy middle ground. Remember, it's not about winning or losing, it's about finding a solution that works for everyone. Thirdly, be more assertive. Don't be a passenger in your own life. Take the driver's seat. Deal with problems head-on, anticipate them, and do your best to prevent them. For instance, if you've got an exam to study for, and your chatty roommate just got home, tell them up front that you only have 5 minutes to chat. Finally, find balance. All work and no play is a surefire recipe for burnout. It's essential to strike a balance between work and family life, social activities and solitary pursuits, daily responsibilities and downtime. Know when to put work aside and relax. Altering the situation often means altering our behavior and communication. It's about making changes in the way we interact with the world around us. It's a proactive approach to stress management. By altering our situation, we can take control of our lives and reduce the stress that we face. Remember, stress might be inevitable, but we can always change the way we deal with it. When avoiding and altering are not possible, we need to adapt. This is the third A in our stress management toolkit. Adapting isn't about changing the situation. It's about changing our reaction to it. It's about adjusting our sails when we can't control the wind. Consider this: you're stuck in a traffic jam, and there's nothing you can do about it. You can either fume and fret, or you can adapt. How do we adapt? By reframing the problem. Instead of seeing the traffic jam as a frustrating delay, view it as an opportunity. It's a chance to listen to that podcast you've been meaning to catch up on, or simply to enjoy a few moments of solitude amid a hectic day. This is what we mean by reframing. Reframing is not about tricking your mind, it's about choosing to focus on the positive aspects of a situation. It's about turning obstacles into opportunities. It's about finding the silver lining in every cloud. But there's more to adapting than just reframing. It's also about looking at the big picture. Take a step back and ask yourself, how important is this stressor in the grand scheme of things? Will it matter in a week, a month, or a year? If the answer is no, then it's not worth your time and energy. It's not worth the stress and strain it's causing you. So divert your energy elsewhere. Focus on things that bring you joy, things that calm your mind, things that matter to you. Remember, you can't control everything that happens to you, but you can control how you react to it. Adapting to stress is about regaining control. It's about choosing how you respond to stressors, choosing to view things from a positive perspective, and choosing to focus your time and energy on things that truly matter. Adapting is about changing our perspective, not the situation. It's about finding the silver lining in every cloud. And that, my friends, is the power of adaptation. So, we've journeyed through the 4 A's of stress management. Let's take a moment to recap what we've learned. We started with avoid, the first A, reminding ourselves that while not all stress can or should be avoided, it's crucial to recognize and sidestep unnecessary stressors when possible. Remember, knowing when to say no, limiting exposure to stress-inducing people or situations, and managing our environment can all significantly reduce our stress levels. Next came alter. If we can't avoid a stressor, we can often change how we interact with it. This might involve expressing our feelings rather than keeping them bottled up, being open to compromise, becoming more assertive, and striving for a balanced life. Remember, altering the situation is all about proactive communication and operation. Then we moved on to adapt. If we can't change the stressor, we can change ourselves. This might mean reframing our problems, viewing stressful situations from a more positive perspective, and keeping the big picture in mind. After all, stress often shrinks when we put it in its rightful place in the grand scheme of things. Our journey through the 4 A's wouldn't be complete without the last A, accept. Sometimes the only healthy response to a stressor is to accept things as they are. This acceptance is not about resignation or defeat, but about understanding that some stressors are a part of life and we can cope with them in a healthier way. These 4 A's, avoid, alter, adapt, and accept, are not just strategies but a lifestyle. They can help us manage our stress levels and lead a more balanced, joyful life. They remind us that we have the power to control our reactions to the stressors in our lives. Remember, managing stress is not about eliminating it completely, but about navigating through it using the 4 A's. Avoid, alter, adapt, and accept. Because a life with less stress is a life with more joy.